Welcome back to OFR Racing PlayStation. This is round 4, race 1. We are at Road America, a circuit that everyone loves, for yet another round of the World Prototype Sprint Championship with the amazing Ferrari 333 SP from 1996. What a beautiful prototype, what a beautiful circuit, and we have 9 drivers, Joe Silva and Simon Allen on the front row, followed by Darren Head, Scott Lively, Jumbo, Kev Allen, Gonçalo Mota, Jorge Jesus and David Emge. We have some returning drivers here, Jorge Jesus most notably, but he is still getting to grips with this Ferrari 333 SP. And look at this, it is Simon Allen that is going to, and the pole position man, Diogo Silva span seconds after the start. Where is he? The top 4 are... Well, are we going to get the replay of what happened? Because that yellow car, there he is, that yellow car is in 5th place, amazingly. Diogo Silva has gone off the track almost right after the start and still emerges in 5th place. Let's have a quick look at what happened. There he is, that number 4 car. Look at the car so well lined up as... and Diogo Silva is... and David Emge almost having to stop there not to hit the back of Diogo Silva, but somehow is still in 5th spot with something else happening as well at the back. That's Kev Allen. And look at Gonçalo Mota. That was a good start by Gonçalo Mota, but that's a chain reaction there. And that is part of the reason why Diogo Silva has still emerged in 5th spot. Good start by Gonçalo Mota. Let's have a look at what happened here, as I'm not sure he hit anyone. He did hit, but he immediately spun. Now the other driver that was hit, which I'm not sure who it was, initially it didn't seem... it was Jumbo. Initially it didn't seem like Jumbo was... Yes, it was not really the contact with Gonçalo Mota that turned Jumbo into a spin. I think it just accelerated a little bit too much right after being at the receiving end of that contact. What a weird start we had here with 3 drivers making mistakes immediately after the start and getting delayed as a result. Kev Allen is sitting in 9th, Gonçalo Mota in 8th, Jumbo in 7th, David Emge in 6th, Diogo Silva, the pole position man, has a lot of work to do if he wants to get into the podium, as race leader is now Simon Allen, followed by Darren Head and Scott Davely. This is Jorge Jesus in 4th spot. Jorge Jesus started from the back, but immediately got a few positions back. And he's running wide there, running very wide. Here comes Diogo Silva already into 4th place, as Jorge Jesus runs wide in turn 3. Very easy corner to overdo, as Jorge Jesus found out. And then once you are in the curb, you don't necessarily spin, but you lose a little bit of time, as we are still on the first lap and already plenty of action here at Road America, as the drivers battle with one another, of course, but also with a very challenging track, as Darren Head is trying to keep Simon Allen honest, as he's trying not to get too far behind. He's trying to stay within a second as we go through the kink here. It's absolutely flat out, and Jumbo is in 7th place and preparing to attack David Emge. David has outbraked himself a little bit. Yes, he did. And here comes Jumbo in Canada corner up into 6th place. Kev Allen that had that problem at the start. And Gonçalo Mota. And Gonçalo Mota gets hit by Kev Allen. I think we are firmly in racing incident territory here, as let's have a look at Gonçalo Mota himself just runs into the back of David Emge and then loses quite a lot of momentum, and then gets hit by Kev Allen that had nowhere to go there. So again, another chain reaction that started with Gonçalo trying to get around David Emge, but hitting the back of the American driver and then getting hit himself by well, basically rear-ended by Kev Allen there, and drops down into 9th place. By the way, Kev Allen up into 8th with that, so he did recover one position. David Emgett down into 7th, as Jumbo now is in 5th place, 6th place, sorry. Look at this. This is Darren Head trying to draft Simon Allen into turn 3, and he's going for it. Is he going for it? No, he's not going for it. Simon Allen retains the lead, but this shows how big the drafting effect is. Look at this now. Simon Allen makes a mistake at the exit of turn 3. Here comes Darren Head, a bit of a dive there in the very difficult corner to overtake, but he does take the lead of the race. Simon Allen loses quite a lot of momentum, so I'm not sure he's going to be too happy with that move, but Darren Head saw the opportunity, and Simon Allen did lose quite a lot of momentum coming out of turn 3, and Darren just took the dive. Well, it was not a dive bomb, but it was not far from that. They were side by side at the entry of the corner. It's just a tricky corner for drivers to run side by side, or even for the driver who is getting overtaken to not lose a little bit of time. Anyhow, Scott Davely, no, sorry, Simon Allen in 2nd place, and Scott Davely is in 3rd, and Diogo Silva, the man from pole position that is trying to recover, is, well, he's less than 2 seconds away from the leader, so this is not over, as we have still plenty of racing to go, as David Emgett gets a little bit out of shape there at the exit of Canada corner. Another lap is complete. We're still at the end of lap 2. Kev Allen is in 8th spot and probably has pace for a slightly better classification, but has been involved in multiple incidents in only a couple of laps. Darren Head is the new leader of this race at the end of lap 2, so we had 2 different leaders already, with now Simon Allen's turn to draft from Darren in the approach of turn 3. Can he do it? Not sure. He's too far behind, clearly, as Darren takes, and Darren getting a little bit out of shape, both drivers there in turn 3, possibly trying a little bit too hard, but and tire wear is surely going to become a problem. Look at this, Simon Allen making, well, not making a move, but gaining a lot of ground there in that combination of corners of 5 and 6. Scott Davely not far behind, and we are, look at this, the man on the move is Diogo Silva, 155.543, and he is right at the back of Scott, so he definitely wants to get into the podium discussion. And as the 2 drivers in front battle, this is still not over, and we have a 4-way battle for the lead, as there are around 2 seconds between 1st and 4th. That is, well, that's very close for 4 cars of this size. Another lap is going to be complete, 3rd lap, and Simon Allen wants to retain, not to retain, he wants to get that lead back, as it always seems to be better to be leading this race. Kev Allen is in 7th place. He did overtake David Emgett. We haven't seen that, but he did overtake David Emgett. Not only that, he's absolutely flying, 156.280. He's 4 seconds faster than George Jesus, that must have had some problem of some sort on the previous lap. And Kev quickly getting into the discussion for the top 5. Jumbo, by the way, has overtaken George Jesus. Look at the last lap, 159.8 for George, and again 2 seconds faster is Kev Allen. Kev Allen is another man on the move, trying to get back into that top 5, as Simon Allen continues to put pressure on Darren Head and Diogo Silva. Oh, look at this, contact there between Scott Davely and Diogo Silva, as Scott was a little bit sluggish coming out of turn 3. Diogo Silva hit him in the back. No harm, no foul, but definitely pressure on the American driver there. Now on lap 4, we are reaching the midpoint of this race, and now the gap is a bit bigger between 1st and 4th. Look at this, it's 2.7. George Jesus not having, let's see what happened here. This is Kev Allen coming behind George Jesus, and George is running wide in turn 1 and running very wide, and here comes Kev on the outside, and that's going to be job done there for and George is coming back at him, but almost spins and certainly gets very much out of shape in turn 2 there, ends up losing the position. So George Zuj going down in the leaderboard, is now in 7th place. He was 4th at one point, still getting adjusted to this car. Look at this, the braking points need to be better calibrated there. He braked way too late there for turn 3, and this is not a modern prototype at all. This is a very old school type of prototype. Simon Owen is tired of the dirty air of being behind Darren Head, and now both drivers must be thinking that their tires are starting to feel a little bit out of shape and far from optimal performance, and Diogo Silva continues to be also behind Scott Davely. Scott doing a good job there, as Diogo may be slightly faster at this point. Look at this, they did exactly the same lap time last time round, 1:57.039. That's to the thousandth of a second. They did exactly the same lap time, and now look at this. This is Simon Owen getting closer to Darren Head and starting to be in drafting position. The question is, does he have enough to make a move? Not in turn 1, surely, as another lap is complete. Let's look at the gap between 1st and 4th when we have the leaderboard back on turn 1. Good move there by Simon Owen, getting closer to Darren Head. This is the critical corner. This is absolutely critical. Darren with a good exit there from that corner. The gap between the top 4 is 2.9, so it's getting bigger and bigger. Scott Davely is the driver, and look at this, Scott Davely actually faster than Diogo Silva the last time around, 1:56.881, but these two drivers are 0.7 of a second slower than the two leaders, and this is absolutely crucial at this point. This is the midpoint of the race, so we are starting to enter the second half of the race, and people are going to be out of time for moves in maybe 3 or 4 laps, and Diogo Silva definitely wants to try to make a move here. Can he do it? No, he's too far behind. Scott Davely is absolutely doing a great job, great pace, defending that podium position from Diogo Silva, and the top 4 have completely checked out from the rest of the field. 5th place man Jumbo is 7 seconds behind this 4-way battle, or perhaps better said, this 2-way battle for the podium, as the top 2 seem to be checking out from 3rd and 4th as well. Then is Jumbo, 6th is Kev Allen, 7th is George Zuj, but this is Darren Head. Darren Head loses the lead there. Darren Head loses the lead in Canada corner. Simon Owen was very much behind, and Darren just a little bit out of shape there in the braking area, and Simon Owen is an absolute class act there and absolutely took the lead with no hesitation. Two drivers leaving room to one another, as Darren Head now continues to be braking a little bit too hard, but he did recover quite a lot of ground in the last corner, and now this is again going to be fantastic because it's the start finish line, and Darren Head is going to be on the inside into turn 1, and surely he's going to recover the lead. That number 11 is already behind the number 30 of Darren Head, and Darren Head takes the lead before turn 1, or does he? Because Simon Owen is trying to keep that lead, and look at this, Darren Head nicely done there by Simon Owen, and now just shuts the door on Darren in turn 2. Nicely done there by Simon Owen. He did recover the lead in the end after that mistake by Darren in Canada corner. This is excellent racing here at Road America between these two drivers. They absolutely want to win this race and take the lead of the championship. Look at this is Diogo Silva now on Scott Davely, and Scott Davely has lost a position to Diogo Silva. This is in turn 1, and what happened here? Well, a little bit of a gap. No, Scott Davely did defend, but now in turn 2, Diogo Silva is going to go for the move. He's not entirely side by side there, so was a bit reliant on Scott Davely giving room, which he did. And now Scott probably trying to recover immediately the position in turn 3. That's his plan. Let's see if it is going to work out. Diogo Silva already going defensive there on the inside line, and it seems to me that he's going to keep the position. Then Darren Head has made a mistake in turn 3. We haven't got the replay of what happened, but Simon Allen has now checked out. Oh, Darren Head spins. Darren Head spinning. in turn 4. And this is a crucial moment. The race leader just a lap ago is now sitting in 4th place, and crucially, he is out of touch with the top 3. Look at this. Oh, he's braking way too hard there in turn 3, almost hitting the back of Simon, and now he's a bit out of shape. But now his brakes are probably too hot, the tires are worn, and then he just sliding, and then ends up doing a full 360 there in turn 4. But crucially, he's lost a few seconds. He didn't lose 4th position. Jumbo is right behind, but still behind, and Darren Head probably just needs to cool down everything, including his head and his car, in the next lap or so, and then try to regroup and try to gain some ground on the top 3. Now Simon Allen is in first, of course, followed by Diogo Silva. Diogo Silva and Scott Daly, both drivers had to slow down. This is George Zhu is also spinning in turn 4 and losing a position to David Emge. And this is maybe some oil in turn 4, as this is exactly what happened to Darren, except that George seems to have hit the curb, and that was the trigger for the spin. Not sure that Darren actually hit the curb. I think he was sliding in the tarmac. But Diogo Silva and Scott Daly both had almost getting hit there by Gonçalo Mota in the battle. What is now the battle for 8th place? Let's see what happened here. Gonçalo Mota is going to try to go on the outside there, but really no space there to make the move. Scott Daly and Diogo Silva both had to slow down quite considerably to avoid the spinning there and head. Therefore, we have a gap of 3 seconds at the front, which means that Simon Allen is now in command of this race. As long as he can keep the gap at around that level, he should be fine. In fact, the gap is increasing. Let's look at the lap times. I think that this is the lap that Darren span, so clearly Simon Allen is going to be way faster than anyone else. He crossed the line, he's 157.9, and Diogo Silva, you can see there, 159.222, and Scott Daly 2 minutes, then had 208. That's because of the spin. Jumbo is good pace, 158, so is Kev Allen. Kev Allen is the man on the move. The question is, can he get to Jumbo? He's got 5 seconds of a gap and still 5 laps to go at the end of this one. So still possible for Kev to reach Jumbo, as we see another mistake there by George Zouch, who is not having the race that he wanted. Former multiple champion of Volkswagen Racing PlayStation, but probably not enough practice yet in this Ferrari 333 SP, as now George is sitting in 9th spot. Gonçalo Mota up into 8th. 7th is David Emge, 6th is Kev Allen, and let's look at the gap at the front. Simon Allen has crossed the line. Well, that is the same lap as we were on, so let's look at the next lap. When the next lap comes, it's going to be completion of lap 7. Simon Allen has 3.4 seconds of a gap, which is comfortable, and assuming no mistakes, should be in prime position to win this race. Yet another victory for Simon Allen in this championship, looking good for being a very strong championship contender. Scott Davis, Diogo Silva has not really checked out at all from Scott Davis, so the two continue to be together. But now with Diogo in second, following that overtake a couple of laps ago. Darren Head is, well, we haven't really seen what his pace is post the spin, because he hasn't really crossed the line yet. So next lap is going to be quite informative, not only to inform us on Simon Allen versus Scott Daly and Diogo Silva, but also to see how far is Darren Head. Well, Darren is 6 seconds behind, which is still quite a bit in 4 laps, but if he's running a second and a half quicker, it could be that he can still recover. Let's have a look at the lap times. This lap is going to be quite critical. David Emge in 7th place there, and he has lost touch with Kev Allen. Kev doing a good job, and he's now has Gonçalo Mota for company battle for 7th place. Let's see Yes, there is the lap times 1:57.120 Simon Allen, 1:56.2. So Diogo Silva did a very good lap there, and the gap is now 2 seconds. So, and look at this, Scott Davey is starting to struggle with these tires, and Diogo Silva did a very good lap. Not only he has checked out from Scott Davey, but also he has considerably cut the gap to Simon Allen, and we still have 3 laps to go at the end of this one. So still plenty of racing as Jumbo continues to be close to Darren Head. Darren Head, by the way, 1:58.140 is not the lap that he wanted, because pretty much everyone else ahead of him is running 1:56s or very low 1:57. So Darren seems to be not able at this point to reduce that gap, and in fact that gap is increasing, and Jumbo is getting closer as well. That number 12 has good pace. He was faster than Darren on the last lap, not by much, but he's still just a second, 1.3 seconds behind, so Darren cannot really afford any mistake, and in fact has to start looking in his mirrors. And another driver that has to start looking in his mirrors is David Emge in 7th place, as Gonçalo Mota is coming after him. He was a second, 1.3 seconds faster on the last lap. Now this is going to be another crucial, and you can see trying to break the draft there, Simon Allen, although Diogo Silva is still very much behind him, more than 2 seconds, but this is going to be another lap that's going to tell a tale, and that's a 1:56.458. That's good for Simon Allen, much better lap, but also much better lap for Diogo Silva, 1:55.919. The difference is now under 2 seconds. In fact, it oscillates between just under 2 seconds and just over 2 seconds. Diogo Silva is coming. The question is, does he have enough time? Scott Davey trying to hold on to that leading group. He has a very comfortable gap over Darren Head, and he was faster again on this lap, 1:57.153, but he's definitely slower than the 2 leaders. Tire wear becoming a huge problem as Gonçalo Mota is behind David Emge, and let's see, David did turn a little bit early there and ended up being in the grass and lost the position to Gonçalo Mota. He's now in 8th place, still with a comfortable lead over Jorge Jesus, that continues to be in 9th. He's at a 2:05, Jorge Jesus, which is not a great time, so probably another problem, another mistake. Let's have a look at the gap between the 2 leaders. It is 1.6 seconds now. Simon Allen lost a little bit of time on this lap, and by the way, the man on the move a couple of laps ago was Kev Allen, but he's now lost a little bit of steam. He's still faster than Jumbo, but not by enough, just 1 second in the last lap. Diogo Silva is going in pursuit of Simon Allen. These drivers have been arguably the strongest so far in this championship, and they are battling it out absolutely hard here at Road America. Simon Allen only has to do 2 more laps, but they are going to be the longest laps of his career, because look at this, Diogo Silva has him in sight now, and the leaderboard is going to tell the story again at the end of this lap. But it seems to me that Diogo Silva is definitely closer, but by a few tenths of a second. We're getting to the last bits of this race, just a couple of laps. Simon Allen again going defensive, and the clock is going to tell the story now again here in this lap as Simon Allen crosses the line. It's almost a carbon copy of the previous laps, because it's a 1:56.46 for Simon Allen and 1:55.98, so almost a replay of the previous lap, with Diogo Silva again half a second faster. Scott Davey now has picked up the pace as well, 56.159, but he's already a couple of seconds behind Diogo, and with 2 laps to go. Jumbo is trying to hold on to that 5th place and hold on to Darren Head as well. Darren did a good lap there, 1:57.0, half a second faster than Jumbo, who in turn was a tenth of a second faster than Kerv. So Kev, now 5 seconds with 2 laps to go, is probably a little bit too ambitious for Kev Allen to be battling for 5th place. But the battle at the front continues to be hot. It's only 1.6 seconds with 2 laps to go. David Emge there in 8th place, right behind Gonçalo Mota. Those are the 2 drivers that are closest on the track. If I'm not mistaken, may be the 2 leaders actually. Look at this, 1.4. And Diogo Silva is really trying to get close enough so that on the last lap he can make a move of some sort, probably towards the back end of the lap. But now the gloves are completely off, and Simon Allen will have to defend, will have to earn this win. But he seems to be in control. Diogo Silva is not yet. In fact, he seems to have lost a little bit of time now, Diogo Silva, which is not what he wanted at this point of the race with just 1 lap to go. It seems to me that the gap is now very much stable and there is no immediate threat. Simon Allen can breathe a little bit, but again, the clock is going to tell the story. Simon Allen seems to be a better lap. It is 1:56.082, and in fact it was faster by a tenth of a second. Diogo Silva, not the greatest lap he has done in the last 2 or 3 laps, ends up losing a little bit of time. This is George Zuch, is in 9th place, and is this going to be... Oh no, David Emge is in the grass, and George is again in 8th place. What happened here? It is a spin followed by... Well, it is a half spin followed by the barriers. Fortunately, no damage. And he's getting back into the track and doing a bit of rally crossing there, David, and getting back into the track, but now behind George Zuch up into 8th place. The gap at the front is 1.5 seconds. It seems to me that Simon Allen has everything under control, as it's quite unlikely that Diogo Silva is going to even make up that gap, let alone be in a position to make a move. So Simon Allen enters the last lap of the race. The top 2 have checked out from Scott Lively, who is in an excellent 3rd place, but just a few more corners to go and no mistakes allowed for Simon Allen or Diogo Silva. And look at this, Simon Allen now going through turn 4, a tricky corner. This is where we saw several drivers spin. Then it is turn 5, and a little bit wide there. Diogo Silva is coming now a little bit closer, but it seems to be a little bit too late. Yes, it's under a second now. So under a second, the gap at the front is 7/10 of a second. Diogo Silva has not given up, but he's too far behind to make a move in Canada corner, which is realistically the last chance of a move on this lap. Simon Allen seems to be under control. Just a few more corners to go. Diogo Silva is now very close behind, but he's too far behind to make a move in Canada corner, so that won't work. And that's probably Simon Allen with a breath of relief. Ooh, a little bit wide there. Both drivers actually a little bit wide, but Simon Allen especially so. Just a couple more corners to go. Now it's just half a second. And now can Diogo Silva gain a lot of ground on the last corner? Doesn't look like it. And it's going to be Simon Allen, the winner of this race, but by the smallest of margins from Diogo Silva. There he is. Simon Allen is going to win the race, and he does so by only 4/10 of a second. 2nd place is Diogo Silva. 3rd place is going to be Scott Lively. 4th place is going to be Darren Head, that led the race at one point. 5th place is going to be Jumbo. 6th place is going to be Kev Allen. 7th place is going to be Gonçalo Mota. 8th place is going to be Jorge Jesus, and in 9th place is going to be David Emge. But there are still battles going on the track, especially for 8th place. Gonçalo Mota now crossing the line, going through the last corner with that number 5 Ferrari 333 SP, and he does cross the line in 8th spot. 7th spot, sorry. And then 8th and 9th are going to be George Zuch and David Emge. George Zuch already on the last straight, so he's going to maintain that position with David Emge finishing in 9th place. We had good battles for the lead here in Road America, and another victory for Simon Allen, followed by Diogo Silva and Scott Lively. Stay tuned for race 2.